Hi everyone, Sandra Sherman here, greetings from Vienna. It's Gypsy time, and this is the rhythm part of a 2-volume feature on Minor Swing by Django Reinhardt. Minor Swing is the most known gypsy jazz tune out there. I'll teach you to play the chords as well as the gypsy rhythm comping called la Pompe. Since the melody in this tune is played by both guitars, we'll also learn the lower melody. Both videos have the exact same arrangements and tempos, so you can play the chords you'll learn in this video over the lead guitar in the other video. As usual, I show everything slowly and detailed. There is also a slow version at the end of the tutorial. I also have tabs for you to download from the link down below in the description box. Okay, much to do, let's get started. Minor Swing has an interesting song form because we have two heads, two main melodies, one in the beginning, one in the end, and in between I've arranged a solo, and we're gonna comp this, we're gonna play the chords for the soloist. We also play the lower melody in the heads. Here's the first head. I'll play through it quickly first so you can hear what it sounds like, and then I'll break it all down for you slow and easy and in detail. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So we start, we're in the key of A minor, by the way. We have something like the A minor pentatonic here. I'm sure you're aware of that. We are on the 7th fret of the A string. Play this once. Then on the 7th of the D, you play this once. It's all down wrist strokes. Then on the G string of the 5th. 1, 2, 3. That's simple, right? Then we have a typical gypsy jazz ornament. We have a triller. We are on the 5th again of the G string, and I play a hammer and a pull. So I hammer on it and I pull away from it. Then I go to the 4th fret of that same string, of the G string. This is really fast. Then back to the 7th of the G, and then the 6th of the B string. And this is the entire melody phrase. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, and we play that thrice, 3 times. after the third time, we have a chord, and that's an A minor 6 chord. And we hit it on the 1 and stop it immediately after. It's the 4th of the D string and the 5th on D, G, and E strings. G, B, and E strings. Here would be the root, the A, we don't play that. We just play the upper chord. Well, you can play, it doesn't matter. But we want to have that high E string sound. All right. Then you wait for the rest of the bar. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we have a little comping on E7. And now we get to the Gypsy comping basics, okay? First off, we have an E minus, an E7 with the 5th in bass, and that's what Gypsy players always, or most of the times, do. They play 7th of the E string, then nothing on the A string. You need to mute this with your middle finger. Then the index is on the 4th of the D string and the 5th of the G string. The root would be here, so the root is not included, but instead the 5th is played. This sounds more bassy or fatter. And also please mute the other strings here, the B and E strings. Those are not being played. And now for the La Pompe rhythm, the basic Gypsy jazz comping. We have 2 strokes. One is more in the bass notes. This is really loud. It's just the bass or maybe, it can be all strings too, but it has to be really short. And then it's more on the upper chord. The second one, the second beat is more of the upper notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And the stressed note, the accent is on counts 2 and 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 and 4, the high strings are really louder than a low string. Now, we have a nuance here on the bass thing, okay? On counts 1 and 3, you could play it like I just played it, okay? And sometimes it's done when it's really fast. But usually you don't do that. Usually the secret ingredient is that before the counts 1 and 3 occur, you have a little upstroke going on, okay? It's very fast. That's like one motion. And the upstroke can be either muted. Some Gypsy players mute it. So it's, but don't make it like two strokes. What is it? Strums. It's not. That's just when I show it to you slowly. It's like one thing. Or you could also not mute, but just regularly press the strings on that up thing again. But you have to be really advanced to do that, because usually when you do that, most beginners sound like it sounds too long. The notes sound too long then. You can do that if you make it really, really short. Okay? So I would suggest for the beginning that you mute the first one and play the second. Okay? So all together we have mute, bass, high strings accented. And one bar is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's one bar. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. That thing is the 1, 2, 3, 4. So count 1 and 3 actually have 2 quick notes, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and we need one bar of E7 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Then the head is repeated. times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now it's not a regular E7 with the 5th in bass, but we play a break, and this is an E7 flat 9, flat 13. We have no root here again, 6th of the D string, 7th of the G string, 6th by barring the B string, and the 8th of the E string, 6, 7, 6, 8. And we start on one end. On one I have a rest, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 is rest. 1, 1 and 2 and 3 and. All right, next I'm gonna play the entire head one for you at slow tempo. Now let's go on to the solo comping. All right, we have a 16 bar form here, song form or form here for that part. We start with A minor 6, and that's the 5th of the E string, the 4th of the D, and the 5th of the G. Mute your A string and the upper 2 strings. And we have our little Pompe rhythm again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a second bar. So 2 bars. Right? Then it goes to D minor 6. And the Gypsy folks, they play the minor 6 chord with the 6th in bass, which is actually a half diminished jazz chord. That's what they always do, or most of the time, especially in that song. We have the 2nd of the A string, so please mute your E string with your index finger. The 3rd of the D, the 2nd of the G, and the 3rd of the B, and mute your high E string. That's D minor 6. The D is the highest note, okay, and the 6th is in the bass. D minor 6, so B half diminished for 2 bars. 3, 4. All right, and then we have E7. We know that already with the 5th in bass. That's the 7th of E, the 6th of D, and the 7th of G. One for 2 bars. 3, 4. All right, so from beginning. And now we have 2 bars of A minor 6. We could play this, but I made an ascending movement towards the next chord, the D minor 6, which we're going to play up here then. We're not going to play the D minor 6 with the 6th in bass, but the D minor 6 up here, the regular one. And we're having an ascending movement here. So I play an A minor 6, this is 5, 4, 5, we know it already, like the first chord. We play 2 quarter notes, 1, 2. Then we have an E7 with the beam bass for 2 quarter notes, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then this leads us back to A minor. And this is an inversion. It's also a C6. So we have a C in bass, that's the 8th of the E string. The 7th of the D string, the A is muted again. And the 9th of the G string, B and E strings are muted again. And we play that twice. So A minor, E7. You might wonder why those chords, they look the same. The -6 chord looks the same as the E7. Actually, you could call them different names. A-6, this could also be a B-6, but it's also an E7 with the 5th in bass. So it depends on the function that chord has. As well as this A-6 could be called a D7 with the 5th in bass. It depends on the function the chord has in that song. The song is in A minor, so you would not call this a D7, all right? And the E7 is the 5th of the A minor, so there's a relation here. That makes sense. And then we have an A7 inversion. All you need to do is actually edge your ring finger here. I changed my fingers though. 9th of the E string, 7th of the D string, A is muted again, and the 9th of the G string. That's an A, actually it's not an A7, it's just an A triad with the 3rd in bass. And that leads us, it's the dominant of the D-6, of the upcoming D-6, and that's a perfect transition. Okay, here's the ascending movement. All right. I played this, the fingering like that, because now all I have to do is kind of shift it upwards to the next D-6, because you could have done this, that's easier, but then you have to change everything here. It doesn't matter, you can do it as you like. Next one is D-6. That's the same as the A-6, but on the 10th fret. 10th of E, 9th of D, and the 10th of the G string. The A is muted again, as usual when you play something from the E string. All jazz chords and gypsy chords are muted on the A string when you play something on the E, usually. And we play that for 2 bars. Now we're back to the A minor, and I could go back, but what I do is I play that inversion we already had at the ascending movement, within the ascending movement, that C6 A minor inversion thing. 8th of E, 7th of D, and the 9th of the G string for 2 bars. All right, from the ascending movement. Now it's B flat 7. Actually, it's 2 E7s, but usually those are split up. And this is a tritone substitute, B flat 7. That's a regular jazz chord. 6th of E, 6th of the D, the A is muted, and the 7th of the G string. 1 bar only, because the other bar is the real E7 with the 5th in bass. So 7, 6, 7. Okay. B flat, E. And now it's for 2 ending bars, and I have a little break in there. So everyone knows we're back to the head again. And my break is, what did I write down for you guys? Oh yeah. Sorry. 3, 4. So I start on the one end, on the A-6, 5th, 4th of D, 5th of G. 1, I put my hand here because I want to feel the 1, even though I don't play it. 1 and, you could also make the and an upstroke, but I prefer the downstroke. I get a more relaxed feeling then, because it's a little behind the beat. 1 and, 1 and 2 and. We have another upstroke here, which is really quiet actually. It's not that loud. Because next is I move it down 1 to the A flat minor 6, 4, 3, 4, count number 3, and back to A minor 6 on count number 4. 3, 4, 1. One more time, 3, 4. And then 2 to the right, and we are on E7, 7, 6, 7. I play the first count. Then I have a scratch note. I get that by releasing the pressure of my left hand fingers, and everything is dead, muted. That's an upstroke, down, up. Then I go 1 to the left, 6, 5, 6. And up to the 7th again to the E7. So the break, 3, 4. Okay, it's played only once. All right, next is the slow version of the entire solo comping section. Here's the second head, also called the outro, and I'll play through it quickly now and then break it all down for you slow and easy. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. The second head is a little different than the first one, but kind of similar and has an ending. We start, like in the first head, on the 7th of the A string, followed by the 7th of the D string and the 5th of the G string. Regular quarter notes. Just 1, 2, 3. But then we have a different rhythm. We play the same thing, 7A, 7D, and twice the G string on the 5th. Okay, so all together. And then we have the triller we had in the first head. This is the 5th of G, hammering onto the 7th of the G string, pulling it off again, and quickly moving to the 4th. And this is the first note of the D minor chord. Okay. Then the 7th of the G and the 6th of the B. We had that before. And now our new rhythm. 4, 7, and twice the 6th and B. Okay, both chords together, and A minor and D minor. Oh, sorry. And now it's for the E7, or just E. We have the 7th of the A string, the 6th of the D, and the 4th of the G string. 1, 2, 3, and then that's 7 of A again, 6th of D again, 4th of G only once, then the 5th of G, and the 7th of D. So both E's. Then it's 1 bar rest, so you count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you fill it up with E7 La Pompe groove. 7th of the E, 6th of the D, and 7th of the G. Right, 1 bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the first part. Then we repeat everything. And then we have the ending. There is no rest. You immediately go down from your pinky, this is a little strange here, but it doesn't work any other way, to the middle finger right below it, the 7th of the A string. You have a pull off from the 7th to the 6th. Then you pick the 7th again on the A string. And then actually every single note up to the 12th. But we don't do it like that. We don't lift our finger up. What we do is we slide along. And when we play this very quickly, then it's not that exact anymore. All you have to do, well, all you have to do sounds so simple, but you have to be at a certain count. You have to be at the 12th fret of the A. What happens in between, just somehow make it sound equally shared, you know? I'm not thinking 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I just glide there, slide up there, and I just have to be there on point on the 12th. Then I go to the 12th of the E string and the open A string at the end. So it's harder to play that slowly because you hear all this in between that you don't hear. It's not as exact when played fast, so it's harder to play it slowly, but I'm gonna play it slowly now. Right? And then we have a chord at the end, the A minor 6 chord. I use the open A string here, the 4th of D, 5, 5, 5 of G, B, and E strings. I strum through it, and I might want to add a little tremolo. Just have your right hand really loose, really not tight. You pick, don't push hard on your pick, but hold it very softly, so it might fly away. That can happen, but hold it softly. Don't have a tight grip. And go up, down, up, down. Alrighty. Next one is the slow version of the head 2 section. Now that you're able to play that rhythm part of minor swing, go over to my other video which has the lead part of minor swing and learn that as well. If you had a blast just like I did, please give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I see you next week. Ciao ciao from Vienna. Bye bye.